Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Today we are picking our July TBR with a TBR prompt generator because I was a little too lazy to write out a bunch of prompts and put them in a jar. So I found this great one online. I'll put it up next to me, but it's called the TBR machine, and every time you click it, it'll just generate a random prompt for you. So I decided why not give this a try, and I'm going to be picking out 5 books because I think that's probably a good amount that I can read and have a little bit of wiggle room for mood reading if that's what strikes my fancy, I guess. So let's get into it and pick our first prompt. Okay, the first one I got is Read and Own Voices book, which I will admit, not a term that I've heard before, so I had to look it up. But it's basically a book where the story is written by an author who shares the same identity or experience as the character that they write about. So you're kind of writing about the author's experience through the character, even though the character is fictional. And I looked up a little Goodreads list here of a bunch of popular Own Voices books and found, I'm looking through it. So far I found Get a Life, Chloe Brown is a book that I do own physically. I'm trying to pick out only books that I currently own on my shelves. Okay, I found it. So we got Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and we'll do this one as our first book for this TBR. I currently actually do not have a place to put these because, as we can see, my shelves are very full, but I will do my best to make some space. Let's go ahead and pick the second prompt. We have Read a book inspired by mythology. So I'm definitely gonna have to do a little bit of research, honestly, to find a book for that because I don't know enough about the books that I own. Nothing comes to mind, but I might have something. Let me see if I can find like a Goodreads list or something. So far it's just the Percy Jackson books, and I would put them on there, but I read basically all of them, so I don't think that's... Actually, hold on. This is Wrath of the Triple Goddess, which is the second book in the series. It says it's called The Senior Year Adventures. This is the new books that he's putting out that are about Percy Jackson and Annabeth and Grover, like the original trio, trying to get Percy Jackson into college in, I don't remember what it's called, like Little Rome or whatever, the Roman camp on the East Coast. So, or the West Coast? The West Coast. And this one came out so long ago, and I had meant to just jump right into reading it and didn't for whatever reason. So it's just been sitting on my shelves, but it is mythology inspired, and I love this world so much. Like, are the books a little bit juvenile for me? Maybe. Are they also super nostalgic and honestly still kind of good? Yes, definitely. So I think I'm honestly just gonna put that one on there. Like, no more research required. Third prompt. We're almost halfway. So third prompt. Read a book with mental illness representation. I don't know that about most of my books. Like, when I buy them, usually it's just because I've seen somebody read them. I don't know anything about them, really. So I'm gonna have to do a little more research to figure out this one. Thank God for Goodreads, because there are so many Goodreads lists for basically anything I could need. Okay, the list seemed to stop working at a certain point, but I think I have a bunch of options. I want to give an honorable mention to The Prison Healer. This was on that list, but I'm trying to finish series and not start them. So I think that I should not be putting this on my TBR, but I will get around to this eventually. I just want to try to finish some of the series I'm in the middle of now before starting new ones. So I'm going to put this one away. This one's also technically the start of a series. This is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. However, I know I said I'm trying to finish series, not start them, but so far this year, I've read an Abby Jimenez book almost every month, And she's become one of my favorite authors after reading like one of her books. And so far I've read 3. I read and finished her first series that she wrote. This is the first book of her second series. So it's this one, Yours Truly, Just for the Summer. And then I think Say You'll Remember Me might be in that series, but it might be start of a new one. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna leave this one on as one of the options just because I love her as an author so much, and I know that I will finish that series so fast if I do start it, versus like The Prison Healer. If I start that one, there's no guarantee I finish it anytime soon. Just saying. So Part of Your World is gonna be one of our options. We also have Normal People. This came up on that list. It was a little further down though, so I don't actually know if it is or not, and I don't know if I'm in the mood for a super lit-fic-y type of book. Plus, I'm scared to read this because so many people love and adore this book, so I just don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. I'm scared I'm not gonna like it, and then I'm like, I don't know, like I really want to like it. It just, from what I've heard, doesn't sound like it might be totally up my alley, but we shall see. I'm really not sure. Twisted Hate did come up on that list as well. Don't know if it actually has mental illness rep, but this is the 3rd book in the Twisted series, which is the one that I'm on in the series, which if I did read this, it would be a good way to continue a series that I have previously started. However, it's kind of long and I don't really know if I want to jump into it, but yeah. Then we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo as an option as well. This one I've heard so many good things about, and honestly was highly considering picking it just because it's supposed to be so good, and I loved Daisy Jones and the Six, which is her other book. I was about to say Evelyn Hugo. Her name's not Evelyn Hugo. Taylor Jenkins Reid's other book. I have, I think, 3 of her books, the 3rd one being something about True Loves. I think it's just called True Loves. I'm not sure. I don't know where I put it, to be honest. Like, it's not with my other Taylor Jenkins Reid books, but I do have that one as well, and I just so far have loved her writing, and I know so many people love her, and this book of hers is probably her most sold one. Like, it's pretty iconic. It says over 2 million copies sold, so that one's definitely a contender. We have All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. This one I think is a YA, and it's just basically about mental health issues. So I really don't know if that's, an option that I want to entertain. I just don't know if this would be my type of book. I bought this so long ago, and like by the time I got around to maybe reading it, I just didn't feel like it was the type of book that I wanted to read anymore. But I think I eventually should give it a shot, so who knows. However, it is summer, and I don't know that I want to be reading. Like, this book just seems heavy, and I don't know if that's the vibe I want for my summer. Then we have Daydream by Hannah Grace. This one is the 3rd book of the Maple Hills series. I don't know if it's just a trilogy or if there's going to be another one. Not sure. But this would definitely be continuing a series for me, and I've heard good things. It's supposed to be good. I've enjoyed the other 2 books she's written. They were both very fun and like fast-paced, so this could be an option. Plus, the girl in this book is a reader and a Swiftie, which basically me. So then we have Alone in the Ether by Olivia Blake, which this one I've been so intrigued by. I bought this in Portland, Oregon. I went there to visit a college, and I got it from Powell's Books, it's like an indie bookstore, I believe, and it is the biggest bookstore by book count, I think. Like, the Barnes & Noble in New York City, I'm pretty sure is the biggest bookstore in the US by square footage, but I'm pretty sure Powell's is the biggest bookstore by number of books. Like, they have the most books in their store. So I bought this while I was there because I thought it was iconic. This poster actually is also from Powell's. It was like, I think this is the map of their store, honestly, and it was just so cute, so I stole it and hung it on my wall. But that one is definitely an option. I've been wanting to jump into this, and it sounds so interesting. So this is mental illness rep, actually. The girl is bipolar, and the guy It says he manages his destructive thoughts with compulsive calculations about time travel, so I think he probably has OCD if I had to guess just based on that description. It does seem like it has some mental illness rep, so that's definitely a contender. Like, of these books, I think this one and All the Bright Places probably have the most mental health rep, so I think I'm gonna put this one on my TBR. It's supposed to be a love story, but it's supposed to also have a deeper message. Like, most of these other ones probably also have mental illness rep, but a lot of these are like romance focused. This one's definitely like more drama focused. So I think if I was to pick a book that was the most fitting of this prompt, I think it would have to be Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake, and I've been wanting to start reading her books for so long, so I think this will be a good intro. And I will put the rest of these back, and then we'll move on to the fourth prompt, our second to last book. Moving on to our fourth prompt, we have read a sad book. Okay, so let's see what I got on the shelves that could be classified as a sad book. This book is technically not a sad book, but I know a lot of people cry reading it. So maybe it is a sad book. I don't know why they cry. So they could be crying because it's sad. Who knows? But I'm gonna put Daisy Hates by Magnolia Parks. No, Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings on my TBR for this one. I read Magnolia Parks, I think last month or the month before that. I read it pretty recently, and it wasn't a 5-star for me, unfortunately. But I did really enjoy it. I was very like sucked into the story, and there was a lot of drama, so I definitely wanted to continue the series. And I've heard that people that like Magnolia Parks but don't love Magnolia Parks are more likely to love Daisy Hates. So I have high hopes for this book, and they might disappoint my high hopes. Like, I don't want to set too high of an expectation for this book and then be disappointed, but at the same time, I am kind of expecting this to be really good, and at the very least, it'll be drama to the max and I can eat it up. Plus, there was so much going on with like Magnolia and BJ in the first book. Like, as far as I know, the first book and this book have the same timeline. Like, they're happening at the same time. They're just about different characters. So you get a different perspective on their friend group and the story. So I'm interested to see what else was happening while Magnolia and BJ were going through their whole mess. So I'm gonna put that one on my TBR for sad book, and I probably will end up crying, so I think that I would consider that to be sad. So now we're on to our very last book of the TBR, the fifth book. So let's see what prompt it gives us. A book that is a fairy tale retelling. So actually, it just says a book that is a retelling. Doesn't say fairy tale. So I have a lot of options for this. The first one that comes to mind is I just continued a series called the Entangled with Fae series, and the entire series is fairy tale retelling set in a Fae world. So that the third book of that is definitely an option. The other thing that comes to mind is honestly These Violent Delights, which is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. It's right down there. So that could definitely be interesting. Let me see what else I have on my shelves that could fit this prompt. I think I'm going to go with These Violent Delights for the last book of my TBR by Chloe Gong. I've been wanting to read the series for so long. Like, I own the whole series, the entire series, including the novellas. Like, I bought all of it. I've heard such good things, and she just seems like an amazing person. So I want to read this. So this is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in the Roaring 20s in Shanghai. Like, excuse me, that sounds like it would eat. They're like gangster families in Shanghai. Like, that just sounds so exciting to me. So I want to get into this series so bad, and I think it would be so good. So I'm going to put that one on my TBR because this thing did not specify fairy tale. So this is technically retelling. It's a retelling of a classic, Romeo and Juliet. Okay, so let's do a little recap of all the books that ended up on my TBR for this month. The first prompt I got was an Own Voices book, which I did have to look up as you guys saw, but it is basically a book where the main character of the book represents the author in some way, either their marginalized identity or their experiences. So for that one, I ended up picking Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, which I don't know exactly how the own voices manifest in this book. It could be experiences, it could be identity. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm excited to read this and start the series. I've heard such good things, and it looks like it would be like a short, cute little like rom-com. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of it, but we shall see. Then my next prompt was a book based on mythology. So for that one, I picked The Wrath of the Triple Goddess by Rick Riordan. This is part of the Percy Jackson universe, and it's the second book of the senior year adventures where Percy, Annabeth, and Grover are trying to get Percy into college. So I've been putting off reading this for no reason at all, and I just want to get into it. So then the third prompt was a book with mental illness rep. So for that, I picked Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake, which I've heard such good things about her as an author and wanted to read this. Plus, I bought this while I was on a trip in Oregon at Powell's, the biggest bookstore by number of books in the US. So I think this will be a special read. Our fourth prompt was a sad book, which, as you guys could tell from my picks, I did not really want to read a sad book this month because it's summer. Who wants to read a sad book in the summer, you know? But for that one, I ended up picking Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings, which I have heard a lot of people have cried at this book, at this series in general. So I would say that it counts. Even though I don't actually know if it's sad or not, it might just be like dramatic and, you know, emotional. But I have good hopes for that. So, and the last prompt I got was a book that is a retelling. So for that, I picked These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in the Roaring Twenties in Shanghai, which I know I already said, but I just thought that I should clarify what kind of retelling. So that is my last one that I picked. I don't really have a place to put them, so I'm probably just going to put them on my nightstand. But these are the 5 books that are going to be on my TBR this month. Stay tuned to see if I end up reading any of them. I probably will, and they'll probably be in reading vlogs. So if you're excited to see me read any of these, definitely keep an eye out for some of my future videos. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a nice day, and I will see you soon.